Hello everybody, welcome to Forever Retro, also known as Demonius X. Today I'm going to be playing something that is a, how should I put it, guilty pleasure of mine. I have a lot of guilty pleasures, and this is one I'm going to share with you and explain what's going to go on with this channel, and while I set up some settings here. So what's going to happen here on this particular channel is nothing but retro games and retro games only. No vlogs, no bullshit, no stupid crap, just plain old retro games. There's a ton of these on YouTube, and the reason why I'm doing them, or doing this rather, is because... oh shit, I need to change something. Hang on. I fucked that up. I'm a little drunk right now, so I apologize. But the reason why I'm doing this is for something to do, because I'm bored, and I sometimes need something to do to, you know, to make my, not my life better, but make my time go by better, I guess is the way I'm looking. You know what? I really don't know. See it as you will, say it as you will, and things of that nature. Okay, so this game right here is Power Instinct. It was an arcade port of sorts, and it was also released for the Mega Drive in the Japan region, but it was never released here. The only version that was released here is the arcade and Super Nintendo or Super NES versions, and I don't understand why. It's a pretty interesting and fun fighting game. So, Keith Wayne is my homie, so I'm going to pick him and go about it. This is basically some guilty fighting games. I might play more than one tonight, I don't know. This isn't a stream, so I'm not worried about that, nor do I care. This is basically just me playing a game and talking about what's going to go on with this channel. So basically, it's going to be basically your other Nintendo playthrough channel that you have, or retro video game channel that you have, and it's unfortunate that there's so many of these that exists, and it really annoys me because a lot of these people that come on camera and talk and explain that they're retro gamers, they're not. They're wannabe retro gamers. There is no person on YouTube that I met or seen that I can really consider a retro gamer. Because in my opinion, a retro gamer is always going to pick it over what's currently on the market today. And I consider what's on the market today to be completely garbage. Yeah, I play it. Yeah, because I have nothing better to do with my time. But let it be known by others that I am strictly retro, for the most part. My passion lies with retro. I mean, all you people out there that enjoy Uncharted and, you know, I don't know, Zelda, Breath of the Wild, you know, basically new stuff, or stuff that's considered new. I don't like those games. In fact, I have no interest in playing those. I play games of this type because this is when I was enjoying video gaming, when I smiled when I popped something like this in. And I actually own this cartridge, so it doesn't... I mean, some people are like, oh, you're pirating because, hey, you're playing a game on an emulator. And yes, I am. I'm using an Xbox 360 controller. But I want you to realize that I own this game. Unfortunately, my digital camera's not working right now. Otherwise, I would show you the cartridge. But why do I have to prove shit to you people? You're just people. You know, people are not exactly the brightest form of life out there. I mean, I don't plan on getting popular here. I don't care. I just want to play video games and share, you know, stories or just things while I play a video game. Like this game right here, the only relevance I had was somebody rented it the day before Killer Instinct for the SNES came out, and I seen it and I thought it was goofy. But, you know, as time went on, this is like the closest the Super Nintendo got to like a King of Fighters game. And some say, well, how can that be true? Because King of Fighters had 3-on-3 fighting, and yeah, that part's true, but the one-on-one fighting, I mean, this feels a lot like it. The only difference is of course, is in King of Fighters, the game bosses were extremely hard to the point where you want to throw your controller. I mean, I remember I nearly cried from frustration when fighting Regal Bernstein. That motherfucker needs to go away. Now, the music in this game is extremely goofy. There's no good tune except for maybe Keith Wayne, but other than that, the music in this game and the sound in this game is completely awful. It's not something I would enjoy or listen to outside of the game. But, you know, it's there, and, you know, you can either enjoy it or make a mockery of it. Now, as you can see, I'm Keith Wayne, and you may notice I'm doing, well, right now I'm doing kind of terrible with him. This is the only character I actually played and I find enjoyable. He kind of reminds me of Iori from King of Fighters. Iori Yagami. He's known as the guy that hates Kyo Kusanagi, and his main purpose is to kill out the Kusanagi flame. For all you SNK buffs out there, are probably smiling or having a huge erection over that explanation. Sorry, I had a cough. Now, I'm not the biggest King of Fighters fan, but I do enjoy them, just like Street Fighter games. My least favorite fighting game from that time period, or 2D fighter anyway, from that to explain is I would have to say is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Now I could see a lot of people just crapping their draws all over that statement, but let me explain why. The game is severely unbalanced, and the music is terrible. You can take that jazz and shove it up your ass, because in any fighting game should not have jazz music. Okay, if I ever hear I'll take you for a ride, I'll kill somebody. Okay, I won't go that extreme, but I will kill something or break something. Because that is just the most awful character selection screen music in any game that I've ever played in my life. I mean, this music right here with the whatever the crap it is much more better than Marvel's Capcom's character selection screen. The second game, obviously. The first one's actually not bad. Do 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 do. Wow. Super Nintendo trying to emulate heavy metal. It's gorgeous. Matter of fact, I'm gonna shut up for a minute so you can hear it. Okay, I think I let you listen to it long enough. I'm gonna get my ass kicked here. Yep, her ass killed me. How many men out there could say her ass killed you? I mean, that would probably be a good way to die. Think about it, you know. Just saying. So, let's see if I can beat this bitch. Anyways, yeah, all that you're going to see from this channel is strictly gameplay, and that's pretty much it. And basically it's going to be my favorite fighting games, my favorite, or games I enjoy. Hopefully I can beat her this round. She's cheap. This is one of those games that starts out easy, but then it gets ridiculously hard. I got her that round. Okay, so basically what I was saying is this channel is strictly to games that were made during this NES, SNES, Genesis, maybe N64 and PlayStation era. I mean, it's not going to go further than that, because that's when gaming to me kind of died. I mean, I never really got into it. I won't buy a new system anymore. I'm strictly a PC gamer now. And the reason is because why do I want to pay a good amount of money for something that's shit when I can just upgrade, make a small upgrade on my hardware that doesn't cost much and get a better experience. You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't have to be control. It doesn't have to be gameplay or even graphics. I'm not much of a graphics whore at all. But I mean, it just seems like PC games are more optimized, and that's why I play them. I mean, so okay, I can see some people out there going, "Why are you playing Super Nintendo?" Because bitch, Super Nintendo was the shit and still is the shit to me. It's this and the NES are like my absolute favorite systems. I had the best memories of, and there's nothing in this world that I would trade that for. I had some of the best times either solo or with friends with this system. So, anyways, this game had 2 other sequels and a Neo Geo port called Power Instinct Matra Melee. And I never got to play those, but I heard they changed the art designs of the characters and music and backgrounds, kind of like they did with pretty much every Neo Geo game that was ported from other systems. Which, well, really isn't anything. But, I heard it was good. Much like Karnam's Revenge, which was the sequel to Fighter's History, which was a fighting game made by Data East. But unfortunately, after that, they went to court with Capcom and had a lawsuit because Capcom claimed that Fighter's Destiny was too much like Street Fighter 2, and in a lot of cases, it is. But they don't say Hadouken, Shoryuken, or what is considered Tetsumaki Senpu Kyoku. No. When I hear it in the game, it sounds like Tetsu Klondike. Seriously, it does. You hear the first 3 Tetsumaki, or Tetsu, but after that, it sounds like Klondike to me. I'm serious. And I honestly think the game was mistranslated and needs to be told to the American people because it does not say Tetsumaki Senpu Kyoku. No, it does not. I don't care what anyone out there tells me. It does not. It says something else. This is the best music in the game right here. See, it just sounds good. The rest of the game in this game sounds like dog shit, at least in my opinion. And to me, music or video game music is important. It has to be good. If it's not good, then I don't want to play it because it's not enjoyable. The only thing that makes this game enjoyable, luckily, is the gameplay. The gameplay is fantastic. You have a lot of moves per character, and it's just fun. I mean, Super Nintendo was a beast when it came to fighting games, I think. I mean, you got near arcade perfect quality. Near. I didn't say perfect quality. I mean, the only thing that Genesis had on the SNES in terms of that regard is control. Okay, and then I can see others out there who lived during that era say, oh, well, the Genesis version of MK1 was better on the Genesis. Okay, let's consider a couple things here. Mortal Kombat 1 was more or less a experiment to see what they can get away with in the gaming industry. And sure, it caused an uproar. But then MK2 broke that mold. And guess what version of that was the best? I could see some people say the Saturn. No, believe it or not, the Saturn had a lot of sound effects missing. And there was no excuse for that. It was CD-ROM. It had damn, I'm getting my ass kicked. It had this God damn it, stereo. It had this, not the stereo, God damn, storage. Good God, I can't speak when I'm drunk. It had the storage, right? So you had the storage, and in that storage, you could have put all the sound effects. There was no excuse for that. If the Super NES was a 16 to 32 megabit cartridge, the Genesis had, or the Saturn had, a 650 megabyte, considering to megabit, and the SNES had more sound effects. What the hell just happened? Oh, Christ. Okay, for some reason the second player has been activated, so I'm just going to go ahead. I must have dicked with the controls at some point and made it out. Well, let me just beat Keith Wayne up on the 2-player mode. I do apologize for that. Hopefully this... anyways, what I was saying before... What the hell? The 2-player is controlling itself. That's weird. Unless we have the both controls... No? Anyways, I'm sorry to talk like an idiot. Okay, so basically, MK1 in the Genesis was better. You had the blood code, you had all the fatalities intact, and not only that, you also had other fatalities that were original that were put in the game when the game was released, if you didn't know the blood code. So that's pretty dope. And the Super Nintendo version, unfortunately, was censored, and it had original fatalities as well. But you got to admit, even though the game had some grainy graphics because the SNES's resolution was not up to par, it still looked arcade authentic. And the control did not play as well. I will admit that. But what I won't admit, though, is if you wanted the arcade look and feel, the SNES was the way to go. I mean, I get in fights all the time with people on YouTube who constantly say on a basis that's ridiculous that the SNES version of okay, I can get rid of the 2-player. The SNES version of Mortal Kombat is garbage. I hear that all the time. Or the SNES doesn't have good sound. I mean, sorry to burst your bubble. I won't agree with you. Okay, because see, here's the problem with most people on YouTube. You think your opinions are facts. They're not. Even when I say it's not facts. I understand what I say here is opinion, and opinion only. Okay? I get that, and you know what? I don't care. What I do care about is people out there need to respect others' opinions and just take what they say and just respect that as such. I mean, you constantly say, oh, the Genesis is better, and there's no I guess, no say in it, or say in that context. That's not fair, because the SNES, in my opinion, will always have the better sound. Yes, FM synth is great, but it's outdated as hell when the SNES came out. The SNES used a synthesized, something that was similar to the Yamaha SG, or XG, no, XG, sorry. Digitized synthesizing. It was new to a lot of people. And I do mean a lot of people. I mean, by this time, the Japanese were so used to FM synth, they always made it sound better because they understood how it was written, how that language was written. The SNES was totally new to them. I mean, if you want better explanation on that, play the Takara Fatal Fury games on both systems. You'll notice the SNES version sounds like dog shit because they didn't understand the coding language, or at least the synthesizer and how it worked, the SPC 700. But then you look at the Genesis, which is basically a baby Neo Geo in terms of sound quality. You have that, and it sounds a lot like Neo Geo, or Neo Geo-esque sound. And the Japanese understood that at that time because they knew of it. They knew of the language. They knew of what it was. And in that case, they were allowed to make better sounds, or better sounding, like music and things of that nature. I mean, okay, for instance, take Fatal Fury. Okay, Fatal Fury on the SNES is pure dog shit. I hate the game and the reasons are the control was awful. The music sounded like almost near Atari quality. I'm not kidding. There is one tune in the game that we know is Niski Katakori, or the theme of Geese. It sounds like an Atari game almost. I'm serious, the quality is that bad. I mean, me and my friend use it as an inside joke because it's like, we'll be like, man, like, someone will play something on the radio and it sounds like complete dog shit. Him and I hate rap. right? Me and this guy hated rap. So if someone would play, like, I don't know, Dr. Dre or fucking Kanye West or whatever the fuck you want to listen to, whatever dog shit, and we'll be like, man, I'd rather listen to Key Sneak Katakori on the SNES. And that was our inside joke because, well, that's how we felt. It sounded that bad. I mean, still, I think the best version of that game is either, or the best version of that song is either the Fatal Fury Special version or the King of Fighters 96 version. I have a hard time. I mean, there's some people out there that prefer the Art of Fighting 2 version of that, but I'm not on board with that necessarily. Yeah, I can see it now. Oh, look, it's a nerd talking about video game music. Well, guess what, bitch? I love video game music. I prefer video game music over what's on the radio today, and I have a lot of CDs that I made on my own of video game music because I love it that much. In fact, when I was a kid, I loved, 80s music on the radio at the time was okay, but I could play the Zelda 2 overhead theme and just pause it. Or, I'm sorry, not pause it, but put my controller down and just listen to it. And it was great. Okay, this is the most annoying tune in the game, and you'll hear why in a little bit. When it gets to the vocal part. It's coming up about now. Look, I'm part Cherokee. My father is 80%. I get it, alright? I get it. But don't disrespect my people in this way, man. First of all, white buffalo is white, okay? It should be red buffalo. You know what? I'm speaking like an SJW, and I apologize. There will be no SJWism tolerated. Seriously, if I ever hear some shit in the comment section that's SJW based or whatever the fuck about like white lives matter, black lives matter, all that shit, it's gonna get immediately deleted because I don't tolerate that shit. And the only reason why is not because of personal belief. I just got my ass handed to me, by the way, so I can go ahead and rip on me, and I don't care. No, it's not because I don't agree with you or disagree with you. It's just that social media frowns on that shit, and but the thing is you know what? Maybe I won't censor it. I don't know. I'm drunk right now, and I can't think for shit right now. Okay, I want to at least play 2 games tonight. I want to play this and another guilty pleasure. I'll do what I need to do to make that a possibility. But I enjoy fighting games. To me, they're quick pleasure, and they're a lot of fun. Even if they're cheap or hard or too easy even. It doesn't kill the fun out of it. Okay, I got him one round. Yeah, you will never see new games or new material on this channel. I doubt I'll ever play even GameCube and PS2 and Xbox on this channel. Because that was the last generation I was interested in, to be honest. And I do own a lot of GameCube games, but unfortunately, they take too long. Okay, and I can only enjoy a game for maybe 45 minutes before I finally get bored and want to take a break and do something else. I mean, that goes with all gaming. It wasn't like that when I was a kid, though. I could play games for hours. I remember renting Super Mario RPG for the SNES at Video Castle, and I would play it for literally 10 hours, and I was going to school at the time. So you got to think about that. Friday, I would get up at 5, right? Take a shower, gel my hair, put on cologne, make myself smell and look nice because, I had this stupid delusional dream that maybe some chick in this school will find me attractive and want to bang me and ride me, and shit like that. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. But that's that's besides the point. The point is I was, I would do that. I come home from school, and it was like 5 or 6 in the night, and I went to ask my parents, because obviously that's what you do. I'm like, hey, can I rent a video game? And I either hear, no, we can't do it. You can't do it this weekend because we don't have the money, or I get told, damn, I get my ass kicked, or I would get told no. And in that case, I would always get depressed and just sit in my room and have nothing to do all weekend, or play a game that I already owned but hated. Like, for a while, the only 2 games I owned on the SNES was Super Mario World, because it came with the system, and Rival Turf. And Rival Turf was garbage. And the only reason I bought that sumbitch is because my brother didn't like the fact that the cover art for The Legend of Mystical Ninja was terrible. I wanted that game for my birthday bad, because it looked awesome, and I loved Konami. I thought back then, you gotta admit, Konami back in that time period, you couldn't top them ever. Capcom came close, but not entirely. Because Konami had games like what, Gradius 3, Legend of Mystical Ninja, Axlay. I mean, everything released by Konami in that time period was freaking fun, in arcade ports and games that you would just enjoy. God damn, this computer's cheap. Sit there and spam special moves all day. Yeah, even as a young chick, you look like the crap I took earlier today. Anyways, let's continue on. So, as I was saying, she's the final boss because all the rest of them are gone. Bye bye. And I would finally, at the end of that evening, I'd ask if I can rent a video game, and either they say yes or no. And I would go up to Video Castle, because Video Castle allowed 5-day rentals. So I rented Super Mario World, Super Mario RPG, because it looked awesome. And that wouldn't be the first time I played it. I played it at my cousin's that lived up in Kingston, Michigan at the time. And I was just so amazed by how it looked. The SA1 graphics, I was like, why do we need the PlayStation? This looks better. In my opinion, it did. And to this day, I still think PlayStation looks like crap. The games, the polygons and everything, the warp and textures. You may have thought it was mind-blowing, but I thought it was pure garbage. I wanted nothing to do with it, so I bought an N64, and guess what? Unpopular opinion as it may be, I was happier with that. It looked better, no loading times, it didn't sound better because of no CD quality audio, but that's perfectly okay. I am perfect accepting of that. Not everyone is, though. And I can't, blame them necessarily, because, we had a term for that, for back in the day. It was called, being a, elitist prick or a tech whore. Basically, a person that has to have the best of everything that was available at that time period. Kind of like what's going on right now. I mean, some say, oh, I'm like that because I prefer PCs over consoles. But you gotta think about this. Think about this for a minute. Okay? Today, consoles are basically consoleized PCs. They have the same parts. There's no sales, like Steam sales, and Steam sales you save a lot of money and you get damn good games. Then you have sites like G2A who you can get those same said games cheaper. And I hear people getting ripped off on G2A. That's because you don't know how to shop. If you look at their, you gotta look at the ratings and sometimes even the comments to pick who's the prick that's ripping you off. Okay, Ume is gonna kick my ass. I'm gonna beat her though, and then hopefully move on to the next game. But with Super Mario RPG, I played the shit out of it, and I beaten. And then, about maybe a few years later, I had a friend named Ricky who had the game, and he never played it, and I asked him if I can purchase it off of him, and he charged me $20. Now, this was back before people who were fucking stupid and didn't overcharge for games. Because seriously, I was on eBay in the early 2000s buying retro games left and right. Games I loved and enjoyed and just wanted to play on my actual hardware. But now, I mean, you can't have that because everyone's charging like $250, $60 for a fucking game that was released years ago. There's no point in it other than ripping people off. I don't care what anyone out there tells me otherwise. Because if it was so popular, then guess what? They need to be making a new console, right? A new console that plays games like the SNES and Genesis and all that, and that aren't that particular console. Like, I'm talking new kind of shit, because it's just ridiculous that older hardware and software costs more. It shouldn't. For those who enjoy the software and hardware. I mean, it pisses me off that people who pretend to be retro gamers buy the shit just to show it off on their shelf. It's like, why don't you just play the fucking game and enjoy it for what it is? Why do you gotta constantly play... Or, I'm sorry, constantly show off your crap? It's like, why don't you play it because that's what, you know, that's what you do when you buy a game as such. I want to beat this bitch so I can move on. Damn. Now, the other two games in this game, I never really played, I'll be honest with you, but I've seen them and how they are played. And I'll be honest, they're nothing special. Okay, I'm going to have to concentrate next round. And when I say that, I get quiet. And I do apologize. This is getting irritating. I just want to beat this game so I can move on to possibly the next game. In my, Okay, I'm going to shut up for a minute. Christ. She should be dead. This is what I hated about 16-bit games. Is when they, okay, good, she's finally fucking dead. Fantastic. This is what I hated about 16-bit games. A lot of the time, Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, they'll get to nothing, right? And then they won't die. This is your ending. This is what was stupid. They could have gave him a little paragraph of what happened to Keith Wayne after he finished the tournament. Not some, congratulations, champion. That's Virtual Fighter shit. They did the same fucking thing in that game, too. It's stupid. It's lazy, and they just did it on purpose just to piss off the gamers out there. I don't understand it. So that was your ending. Yeah, imagine spending $60, taking that game home, and being like, okay, great, I beat the game. Okay, I want to see what happens to Keith Wayne. Oh, congratulations, champion. Fuck yourself. Okay, let's move on to the next game in my collection, to fighting games. These are just basically guilty pleasures. Now, this next one, you're going to be like, what? But it's true. I kind of like it for what it is. Excuse me. Alright, the Japanese version. Okay, this is the Japanese version of this game, but yeah, you're going to be like, what? It's true, though. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. It's not great by any means, but I like the music in the game. Some of you probably already know what it is. I did a stream on this, actually, Twitch a long time ago. Wow. was a couple years ago. Yes, Rise of the Robots. This game was overhyped beyond belief. And in some ways it delivered, and in a lot of ways it didn't. It was supposed to basically be um, a be-all, end-all fighter for the SNES and Genesis. Now, believe it or not, the Genesis version of this had better full-motion video, but for a 16-bit system to do this kind of technology, in my eyes anyways, maybe not to yours, is impressive. Because the cartridges weren't supposed to do full-motion video, but they didn't. And to me, when a cartridge is able to do something that a CD-ROM is known to do, to me it just makes me think. You know, how far can cartridges go? I mean, now today we have like Nintendo Switch and shit that can actually do amazing visuals and whatnot, which is all more or less just a NVIDIA shield. I mean, when I seen this, earlier when I was a kid, I was blown away. I was like, wow, that looks cool. The Genesis version looks better, but doesn't sound better, that's for sure. We're about to sample why. This tune right here is the absolute tits. I love this tune. Seriously, I can put this on a stereo and blast the shit out of it and listen to it all day. I'm not kidding. Now, I suck at this game, but it's a guilty pleasure. And I don't know why necessarily. It's just, to me, it's fun. There's moves, there's 2 of them, and I don't know how to do them. Unless I were to load up game facts or something that could tell me otherwise. And if you time it right, you can actually punch your kick to victory. Let me see if I can kick him to victory. Yep. Let's see if I can do it the second round too. Anyways, Rise of the Robots. Kim Justice, even though I can't stand him for reasons I won't explain on this video. Kim Justice made a video on Rise of the Robots, the whole thing, and it actually was a damn good video. He explained in full detail what it was and how it came to be and why it failed and stuff like that. As you can see, the game is actually kind of a technical marvel. I mean, the 16-bit era was not meant to push graphics this intense. You mean maybe like, this ain't intense, this is garbage. Well, back then it wasn't garbage. It was actually pretty good to look at it graphics like these. For 1994, these were, for consoles anyways, this was as top as you were going to get if you didn't have a CD-ROM system. Alright, I think I got loaders, and I'll be honest, when I first played this game as a kid, I could not beat this guy. It wasn't until I, okay, I might lose. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, cool. It wasn't until I sat and played with the game that I finally realized how it's done. And you even get an FMV of the defeat of your boss, or not boss, the guy you just fought. Yeah, it's nothing exciting as today's standards, but I don't know. Even back then it wasn't all that great. This game did very poorly in terms of sales and reviews and such. But it was still amazing to see a cartridge-based system in 1994 to do this, though. To do this kind of movement. I'm skipping through because I already seen these a trillion billion times. Yes, I've played this game a lot because I liked it. Now, you may know that there was a sequel. There's one of the moves. It's back, forward, kick. And it does good damage, as you can see. Anyways, there's a sequel called Rise 2 Resurrection, and it was just as bad, but to its credit, it had a lot of characters, but here's the problem. Every character had the same ending. So you didn't get different endings like you did with, like, say, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and the like. You just got one solid ending, but there's a lot of games like that suffered that particular fate. There was a game on the Genesis called Fighting Masters, which had the same kind of ending, and it was complete bullshit. It pissed me off. And believe it or not, that's a fun game right there. I might actually have to play a game on there and show it on here. This game was also released on the Genesis, but like I said before, I mean, I basically praised it for its visuals and FMV and such. That's because the FMV on the Genesis is better, and I think it's because of the high resolution that the Genesis has and the faster processor. See, the Genesis had 768, I think, I could be wrong, megahertz, while the Super NES only had 358. And that was, but the difference between two systems is, like I said, the Genesis was more like a mini Neo Geo. You know, it had the same sound processor, well, not the same sound processor, but along the lines. They both had Yamahas. I can't remember the Yamaha and the Neo Geo offhand, but the Sega Genesis had a 2612 Yamaha, which was a little weaker than the Neo Geo, but still, you could, like I said, it's FM synthesizing, and the Japanese were well known with that. And a lot of people associated the Neo Geo as 24-bit, which wasn't true. It was more or less a really high-bit 16-bit system. Like how much the TurboGrafx was like a really high-end 8-bit system. And I really wish the United States division of TurboGrafx 16 did better, because that was a system worth playing. It was better than the Genesis, in my opinion. Yeah, I said it. I mean, if you played like Space Harrier and Shinobi and games like those on the TurboGrafx 16, they are milestones better than the Sega Master System ports. It's just a shame. I really wish the TurboGrafx did a better job here in Americas. I mean, the Japanese love this system, and rightfully so. It's a damn good system. I mean, I own one, but I won't collect for it because games are just too expensive. I'm actually thinking about getting me a EverDrive for it, so I won't have to buy games for it anymore. I mean, a lot of people want to bitch about piracy and shit. Here's the thing about it, guys. This era is done. Any game you buy of yesteryear is going to make the store money, not that company. You're not supporting jack fucking shit in terms of developers. This guy's an asshole. You're not giving money to the people who originally made that product that you're buying. You're not. You're giving it to either the seller or the store that's selling it. So you're not supporting jack shit. If you can prove me wrong, please do, because I am willing to combat that in any way, shape, or form. And all you little do-gooders out there can go fuck yourselves, because see what I mean? How this motherfucker's cheap. I'm probably gonna die here, and that's okay. I'll just move on to something else. Yeah, I'm dead. I've beaten this game before. I'm just not in full. Let's see. Let's load the third and final game before I end this video. This was a Street Fighter clone, if any sense of the word. I beat that game on my stream, the Rise of the Robots. The Supervisor's the last boss. Also has some of the best music in the game. It's just... Crusher is a fucking cheating bitch. I hate the fucker. I beat him sometimes, and other times I don't. Here we go. This is made by Kaneko. Yeah, power moves. This was Street Fighter... basically a Street Fighter clone. I'm gonna go ahead and give myself more credits. Let's see. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Alright, let's see. Give myself 5 credits, leave it at level 4. But with, like I said, with the Genesis though, it's a damn good system. It's just faster. It's basically, in my opinion, a lot of people don't use this terminology for the Genesis, but in my opinion, it's a home arcade system. And the reason why I say this is because most of the components... Alright, hold on. I'm going to reset and change my buttons. I apologize. Um, the thing about the Genesis is it pretty much was, if you compare the arcade games at the time and the Genesis together, it was almost like peanut butter and jelly. Let's see. Punch, kick. Okay, that's better. It was like peanut butter and jelly. And like I said, with the SNES, it was just, to most developers, it was new, the synthesizer type, and they couldn't make anything worthwhile at first. They learned it over time, and then you had some masterpieces. Now this is Power Moves. It's not a very well received game. It was just trying to rip off Street Fighter, as you can probably tell by throwing Hadoukens. And I think he's saying Koken, which is the same as Ryu Sakazaki from Art of Fighting, which he also says the same thing. Now, if you do this enough, you can probably spam it to death. And there's his other move, and that's it. You get 2 moves. Now, I rented this game and I played the piss out of it because I liked it. Because that video store had some kind of... I died, fuck. That person, particular video store, not Video Castle, they weren't around yet, but Video Busters, which was right down the street where I lived, and they were there for the longest time, before, like, until the turn of the millennia. They lost to Movie Mania, and then Movie Mania died, and then, well, Video Castle died in 1990, I want to say 7, because they didn't even get N64 and Genesis games, or I'm not Genesis, guys, like PlayStation and Saturn games. I rented a lot of games because, you know, I grew up in a poor family like some people out there, and I rented my games to play them, and then later on my birthday or Christmas, I was able to get a game of my choice. And by the time, you know, the Super Nintendo's life ended, I didn't have many games, but what I did, like I mentioned earlier, retro games were stupidly cheap. In the late 90s and early 2000s, I just built my collection of games. I enjoyed them. Now this, I will admit, I don't own this game, but I plan to in the future. Just because I like this game and I like to play it once in a while. I usually play it once a year. And you're like, and I can just see the average gamer going, why? This game looks like garbage. And it is, but I have nostalgic feelings for it. Because, I played Super Nintendo a lot with a couple friends of mine who I don't hang out with anymore, and not because of my own reason, but they grew up and they just didn't like me anymore. And I don't know if that's my fault or not. I would like to know. And so if those guys who recognize my voice want to tell me the reasoning behind that, please do. I'd like to know why you stopped hanging out with me. And those guys' names were Donald Hayes and Steven Spencer. If you guys are watching this shit, which you probably won't, because you guys have your own lives, I want to know why we stopped being friends. Because you guys shaped up my life in a way that was amazing. And I want to know why you guys stopped hanging out with me. We were like brothers, and we had a lot of adventures and things like that. But you fucking just stopped chilling with me. So... I doubt they'll answer this, because I doubt they watch YouTube. I mean, because they got their own lives and stuff like that. I know Donald has 2 kids now, and Steve owns his own landscaping company. That's all I know. I'm getting my ass kicked right now. This is stupid. Trust me, I'll get this. Because here's the thing about this game. If you play it originally, you get your ass kicked. But I'm more focusing on talking, so maybe I should focus more so on to get that fucking law cracked and go to hell. I'm getting owned right now, man, in a way that's not even funny. Okay, I'll just spam fireballs all day. I don't care. But they'll block it. See, that's the problem. what I try to do is get in them so I can throw, but they usually get a hit in, and that's bullshit. See, like that. So, I don't know, if anyone watches this, is he saying cool, Ken, like, Art of Fighting, Ryo Sakazaki from that SNK game? Is he saying the same thing? Because I'd like to know if he is or not. Fucking hell, man. Alright, I'm gonna fight against somebody else, because this guy can go suck a dick. And here's the thing about the game, it's weird. You beat a character, you get stats added to your shit. Can I pass this? No, I seem to can't. Okay. Oh, and there's bonus stages in this too, which is real annoying. Alright, fight Bagman. This tune's catchy. I'm gonna shut up so you can hear it. Usually I'm better than this. For some reason I'm getting my ass handed to me, and it's pissing me off. I might have to reset and just restart. And I wish I was in better minds for this, but I'm not. You may hear clickies of the buttons. I'm using an Xbox 360 controller. Well, it's not an official one, by the way. It's a knockoff. I literally hate this controller, and I hate the Xbox controller. I really prefer the PS2 or the SNES controller. But the reason why I have this controller is because I play Grand Theft Auto 5 with my friends, and this controller works well with it. So, yeah, I use my PS2 controller on my laptop to play retro games. But for this, I'm actually learning how to use this controller, so I'm not as bad with it as... Oh, come the fuck on! I pressed the Y button well before you fucking did that shit. Fuck you, you fucking blue Russian... Go stand in line for bread. God damn. Okay, you know what? Let's reset and start over. I'll pick another... This is the last game I'll do, though, because I'm starting to get annoyed with this shit. This is why I don't stream. I get annoyed with games, and I have to sometimes silence myself in order to progress. Because if I don't silence myself, I can't concentrate, and therefore I lose. Because, see, a lot of games require concentration, and I don't have it if I'm talking. You know what I mean? So I don't even see how streamers do it, to be honest with you. I don't see how streamers can sit there and play and actually come up with a good conversation without fucking up. See? I'm talking, I'm dying. I'm starting to get annoyed. And usually I'm better at this. And I do like this game still, regardless if I'm losing or not. I know a lot of gamers are like, oh, this game sucks, when they lose at a lot because they suck. So I don't know if that's bitch supposed to be Chun-Li's ripoff. One new game I'm actually looking forward to playing once it comes out on PC is Sonic Mania. And the reason is because I'm one of those guys who grew up with, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog in its original form. And from what I've seen in this game, from other YouTubers, is it looks a lot like and plays a lot like the old games, and that's really cool. We needed that because Sega they seem to have lost their way. I mean, I mean, if you look at Nintendo, at least, at the very least, they at least still make consoles. Sega does not, because they fucked people up with Saturn, and then, you know, the Dreamcast was good, but then Sony overhyped the PlayStation, and that's the reason why the Dreamcast died. Not because the Dreamcast sucked, quote unquote, but in my honest opinion, heart of hearts, if the Dreamcast had a DVD player, I think it would have had a fighting chance, because back then, that's what was in the in. And in some retailers, that was the cheapest DVD player they could buy. And not only that, the people who actually knew of things, that particular system was not only able to play games, but could watch DVDs. And the people that knew that were blown away by that idea. They thought it was the greatest thing. Oops. I accidentally pressed the Xbox button. Yeah, you get passwords every time you beat a character because for some reason they thought that was important. I don't agree. This is the character's Blanca, I think. Because he does a little roll ball thingamajig, kind of like Blanca does. And he goes, fire! Which I think is funny. But this game has some catchy ass music. See what I mean? Just bootleg Blanca. And they got some really nice parallax scrolling too on here. If you look at the playfield. I mean, it may seem simple by today's standards, but back then, man, that was pretty dope. I liked it anyway. So funny. Yeah, when Street Fighter 2 came out, I wanted to play every Street Fighter type game. So you can probably understand I was probably one of those, you think I'm one of those guys that just purchased every single Street Fighter like game. No, I didn't purchase them. I rented them. This was one of them, and I enjoyed it. And there was another one actually that's a modification of a Ramna 1.5 or a half game. It was called some of you may know by IRM, called Street Combat. It was you played as Steve, and there was a Bionic Steve and a humanoid Steve. And if you hold the R button, you can actually select any of the characters in the game. The game was crap though. They didn't understand a fighting system, and if it hit him in the head, it was awful. Alright, now I'm doing pretty decent. Let's go after... I'll go after this guy. This guy has like these two weapons and he throws them. Yeah, see? Yeah, I got my Super Nintendo originally during the year it launched on Christmas, 1991. My brother got a Sega Genesis, and he thought he was the hottest shit on the planet. But I will admit, my brother and I thought Super Mario World was the tits. We played it at Target all the time on the kiosk. I remember it as clear as day. We used to go up there and play the living piss out of it. I'm gonna pause this game for a minute. Okay. We played the hell out of that game. We loved it. Both of us did. And, well, my brother and I saw Sonic and we thought it was dope. So he got that. And... excuse me. Ugh. So then began the greatest gaming generation to ever be born. 16-bit era was great, guys. You may think today's hot shit with hot technology and online gaming and shit, but online gaming is nothing in compared to going to the arcade and surrounding an arcade machine and talking about nothing but games and versing other people and just having a damn good time. You didn't have hackers or modders or people who can't, what I like to call the people who can't stand to lose, so they have to cheat their way through a game. You know, Mortal Kombat X, in comparison to, say, Mortal Kombat 3, there's no comparison in terms of playability, in my opinion. It was better in the arcade. You got to play against a person, and it was you versus their wit. It was amazing. Here's a crappy ass bonus stages. This shit's garbage. You basically got, you'll see. You gotta hit what the light that flashes. It's pretty stupid. And it's seriously, this is, if you have insomnia, this will kill it. I don't even care how well I do. This goes on too long. So, y'all seen any good movies lately? I don't even watch movies anymore. I can't even tell you. The last movie I think I saw was The Immortals. No, actually, it was that one video about there was a women with exorcism, and it ended with the car crashing at the end, and it said to check out a website to learn more about what they saw in the video. It was pretty stupid. There was no definitive ending, and I hate movies and games and things with no definitive endings. I think it's a waste of time, it's garbage, and it robs people their money. And I wish I could say I was kidding, but I'm not. It's literally how I feel. That's one of the reasons why I have a hard time playing games from like the old arcade era. Because I like games to end. To have an ending. And to have a proper ending too. Like with fighting games, if you have multiple characters, you should be able to have multiple endings. And as garbage as it is, World Heroes, fucking hell, had endings for different characters. Not congratulations and a little video plays like Virtual Fighter. That always pissed me off too about Virtual Fighter. Is you would play the game and you would get a congratulations and a little portrait picture of your character that you played through as. It's fucking dumb. Warren, you can go to hell and die in a fire, you piece of fat shit. Well, actually, he's muscular, but... No, if anyone's fat, that's me. I just want him to die. He keeps blocking everything I fucking throw at him. And he can throw... This is the kind of shit that pisses me off. Is that double KO? First time that's ever happened in this game for me. I never had a draw. Blockaholic. I'm getting annoyed by this character, so I'm sorry if I'm not talkative. Oh my... Draw again! Damn! Now, if you want to know who Kaneko is, they did a few arcade games and games on mostly the Genesis. I think the game they were working on before they passed was, or before they bit the dust, was Socks the Cat, which was Bill Clinton's cat, I think. Because Bill Clinton was in term that time. He served 2 terms. And then it was Bush Jr. Bill Clinton wasn't a bad president. People can say a lot about him. His wife's a cunt, though. I will never vote for her. I know the whole... Yeah, I lost. Oh, well, fuck it. I didn't... See, the thing is, I don't believe in voting because I think the whole system's rigged. And it really, regardless of candidate, they both sucked. Alright? Trump and Hillary were absolute terrible choices for the country. So I didn't vote. And I never do vote because I don't always agree with the candidates that they have at the finale of it all. It's always two of the biggest schmucks in the country that they can ever put in charge of this place. Now, I'll be honest. Trump makes me laugh because he's just a fuck off kind of guy. And I like that. But, you know, I still don't think he's the right choice for the country. But neither is Hillary. As soon as I saw that Trump won, I was like, well. I was like, that sucks. Okay. Alright, got Vagnag. Yay, at least one round. Okay. See if I can get him the second round. So, I don't know, some people may want to know about me. I mean, a lot of people know me as Demoniasex. I used to make vlogs on YouTube, but then I don't agree with homosexuality or transgendering or any of that, so you can consider me a homophobe. It doesn't, or a bigot. That doesn't bother me. I don't care, because I'm not trying to fit in today's society's bullshit. I seriously, I can be considered everything that's ist, and it would not bother me at all. Bigot, misogynist, all that doesn't bother me. I don't care. Yes, I hate women too. I think they're bullshit. Alright, I just want to get this fucker off the map. But I'm a big time retro gamer. Me, in the sense of retro gaming, I enjoy the Super NES, Genesis, NES, Atari 2600. I don't enjoy anything beyond the GameCube all that as much as some of you out there may do. Just because it just doesn't feel fun to me. They don't feel like video games anymore. Games today don't feel like video games at all. They just play, they're like interactive movies, and it's boring to me. I mean, I really commend the indie developers out there who tend to make traditional games that we know and love and make them into something amazing. Like, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the game, Shovel Knight is a good example of what I'm talking about. They took a game that's like Zelda 2, Fanaxidoo, and you know, Castlevania, and they made it into a game that was just amazing with platforming and attack functions and shit like that. I didn't like the music though, and I didn't like the gameplay. But a lot of people out there enjoyed that game for what it's worth. I mean, I'm sick of these companies that just think, like, for instance, Double Dragon 4. I hate Double Dragon 4, and there's a reason for that. It's basically Arc Systems using nostalgia as a weapon to make a big cash grab. Well, if they would actually work on the game to where it's actually cool to play and a lot of fun to enjoy, it would have been worth the purchase. I purchased it, and I didn't like it at all. I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. And the reason why I don't like it is I don't like the play style, I don't like the music, I don't like the, you know, it's just Double Dragon 2 fan-made. That's what it feels like. And that's one of the main complaints, is the game plays like a fan-made title. And does it not? I mean, the backgrounds are freaking terrible. How can you put that project together and call it a retail a sellable product. I mean, it looks like a fan-made game. And the ending reminds me of that of something you'd see on Saved by the Bell or some 90s sitcom where shit goes awry and something goes wrong and then there's a message behind it. It's stupid. The only highlight, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, you can play the different characters you fight in that game by going through the tower mode. And I think maybe even the final boss women in that game is playable. Or yeah, I don't know. I haven't played the whole tower mode yet. I got to level 30. That's the highest I've been. Now, if you ever played the game for the NES called Kabuki Quantum Fighter, this guy reminds me of the character from that. But that character was made by HAL, which the late great Satoru Iwata was the president of, who would now become a secondary party of Nintendo. Speaking of, hey Hal, where's a new Lolo game? Can we have that, please? Or, I'm sorry, Agerland. I mean, seriously, we have not seen a Agerland game since the NES. And there was a couple on the MSX, and there was a couple on Windows PCs as well, in the 90s. So where's my shit? I want my frickin' Agerland, and I want it now. Can I has? Probably not. Chances are it's on frickin' mobile of all places if we ever get a reboot. Because Japan thinks that mobile gaming is the future. Konami, anybody? So stupid. I'm sorry, I don't believe in touch screen things to be the future of gaming. I was raised to hold a controller in my hand and press a button when shit goes awry. Or I'm expected to do something. I don't need no stinking touch screen interface for that. That doesn't work. I mean, if any of you played Sonic the Hedgehog on mobile, I mean, if you were to tell me it works on the touchscreen, I would call you a liar. There is no way that game is playable on a touchscreen. Because there's no tactile feedback. It's complete garbage. And you know this, you just don't want to admit to it. And that's perfectly fine. That's your prerogative. But I don't agree with you, and I never will. In my opinion, a gaming is a console that you hold in your, or that's worthy of it if you hold a controller in your hand and you press buttons to do the actions. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the Wii was a pretty good idea because it was new and fresh, but they did it wrong. The feedback was completely awful. If the feedback was better, yeah, I did awful here, that's only because I don't care. The feedback was awful, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't broken, it just was awful. It didn't work right. And that's depressing. Because it has, I mean, I remember when that thing was coming out, people were psyched for it because it was new. When's the last time you've seen something like that? You can't tell me PS4 and Xbox One and the Switch had that appeal. You can't. You can sit there and tell me, oh yes it has, they were the fastest selling consoles ever. Yeah, but did you see those at E3 and people standing 10 deep waiting to try out the damn thing? No, you didn't. So, in that case, you're wrong. Now, I'm in no way a Nintendo fanboy. In fact, I mean, I backed out from the console gaming market for a long time. The Wii was the last system I bought with my money. My wife bought an Xbox 360 because there were some games she wanted to try out. And she has every right to. I mean, shoot, she enjoys games, so why not? But do I buy new games for even the homebrew stuff for other consoles? No, I don't, because they ask too much money. Honestly, if a game is released like that, it should be $20. And if it's not, I'm not interested. I can see it right now. You're cheap. You're stupid. You don't Support, do not. No, I don't support people that overcharge money for a console that's long dead, okay? If it's dead, the game should be cheaper by default. I don't give a damn whose opinion if they want to combat my opinion, okay? You can go fuck yourself. Okay, I think we're in the last boss, and then I'm done. Now, look at this guy. He looks like two things to me. He looks like Takuma from King of Fighters and a Fist of the North Star character. And he's nothing special. He throws something that sounds like Comcast and Thunder Feast. I like his music though. This game was called Power Athlete in Japan. Now, I'm wondering why did they release this in Japan? I can't see it doing well. Dude, he is so Fist of the North Star. You can just tell by his moves. Oh, sorry, paused it. Yeah, well, guess what? You can thumb me down all you want, but you look like you have female tits, you faggot ass. Yeah, if you don't like that, go. I don't care. He sounds like he says Comcast. I don't know what he says, but write down in the comments if you know what he says. I'm always interested with retro games, with voice samples. Tomcat? Thumbs cast? You know, I don't know. I seriously have no idea. I'm gonna spam Coolkins and see if he'll... Yeah. Hopefully I beat him. I heard this team went on to make Battle Masters or some kind of masters for the Super Nintendo. Like, it had the same, like, sound samples and things of that nature. I think it was called Battle Masters. Which was actually pretty good. I just wish they released that on the American consoles, but unfortunately, with everything else that's great, they didn't. Now, here's something amazing to think about. The SNES version, or I'm sorry, the Genesis version of this, and this version sound basically exactly the same, just minor differences. You can tell they weren't trying to make one better than the other, obviously. Come on, I'm gonna get you, you whore. Got him. What is he, a cow? Let me process you so I can make us some hamburgers. Anyone up for taco burgers? It's where I take taco seasoning and make hamburgers out of it. You mix tacos and eggs, and you put some cheese and banana peppers on that. Oh yeah, taco burgers. Yeah, I know a fat guy like me shouldn't eat that kind of stuff, but I can't help it. Some of it's good. I also like to make mushroom gravy loaf, which is like meatloaf, right? But instead, I put mushrooms and bell peppers in it, and then I make mushroom gravy and I put it on top of it instead of ketchup. People around here love that stuff. And I'm done. I've beaten this game. Good. And that's all I'm going to play tonight. Yeah, well, I mean, I may mention more recipes down the line. And this is a Stupid fucking ending, I swear to Christ. I mean, who could look at this and say, wow, that's an amazing ending, I feel accomplished? No. You're some bootleg Ryu, that's holding up a belt. So, yeah. This music's cool, though. No, every time I see this ending, I get nostalgic. I view myself as that young 10-year-old boy with the SNES controller in my hand and just feeling like I've accomplished something. You know, and that's an amazing feeling when you're a kid. But when you get older, like in your 30s or 40s, like I'm 35 right now, and I sincerely don't. I feel like everything's old to me. There is, you know, like they say, life never gets boring if you keep exploring things. But some of us, I mentioned before, aren't destined for greatness. So in that regard, when you're not destined for greatness or destined for things, you don't get in that which what you want. Not everyone is able to comprehend the skills or thought processes or that are available to make these changes and to make these things happen. I mean, there are people out there that would love to, but their minds just can't wrap around those concepts and make them work in their favor. I mean, we have losers and incels, people like those, you know, that we look down upon, and that's not fair for them because they can't help it. The society has divided people into such different groups of categories that they end up like me, who just play old games and remember times gone by that were better to that person, because today's society is a completely broken mess of what used to be, and I will never accept this society as my own. I'm always going to remember in the past when things were better and simpler, to where I enjoyed life more. Life was more enjoyable then than it will ever be now. Now it's a clusterfuck in what it could be, of what could ever be in terms of enjoyability that life can offer a human being. So in short, SJWs, feminists, the left, all cancer. And, you know, I try very hard not to consider those part of my everyday life. I just do my own thing and enjoy life to my degree. I don't make life harder for other people because that's not who I am. And I just enjoy what I enjoy and go from that point on. And that's what people should be doing. Instead of making life harder for others, why don't you just enjoy the life you do have and enjoy what you do instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing? I mean, with my last video on Demonius X's channel, that not the music, but the epilogue. What people don't realize in that video that I was trying to make is, regardless of my opinion or other people's opinion, regardless of any opinion whatsoever, if you are happy with who you are and the way other people live, it does not matter how I feel about it or others feel about it. It matters on what you feel about it. And if you're happy with that, who gives a shit what I think about it? Yes, I despise homosexuals. Yes, I despise LGBT. Yes, I despise feminists. Yes, I despise SJWs. Yes, I despise the left. I wish you would all go to an island so I can nuke the son of a bitch and you all would die. That's my opinion. And it will never change. But with that opinion in mind, if you strongly think opposite of that, then it shouldn't matter what I think. It shouldn't. If you're happy and you enjoy everything around you, you're happy about society, you're happy about the way everything is today, then keep living that way. If it brings you peace, it brings you happiness, it brings you enjoyment. It doesn't matter what I think or others who may think like me. It's really that simple. Anyways, this has been Foreverretro82. also known as Demonius X. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video for what it was worth. I hope you enjoyed the commentary, and I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. This is just a sample of what you'll experience. I'm sorry if this went on a long time, but I wanted to make something long for people who enjoy retro gaming. This is going to be strictly a gaming channel, nothing more. So do not ask for vlogs. Do not ask for video, face cam. You're just going to see video and me talking. And if that's not enough, go fuck yourself. Demonius X here, Foreverretro82. You all have yourself a great night. Take good care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.